Hi, Dr. Edelman here to explain what I'm expecting from you with Module 2 assignments and discussion. I wanted to just explain it a little further and make sure that I clear up any issues that I anticipate that you may or may not have. So you're going to start with reading chapters 6 through 11 that are discussing various specific disabilities that you are undoubtedly going to encounter when you're working in an inclusive environment. The first part of the assignment is I'm asking that you research 2 specific disabilities and become an expert in them. I want you to research attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, and also autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. There are 2 chapters in your book that give you all of the information you would need. However, if you would like to go to outside sources via the internet or journals, web articles, make sure that they're reputable sources that come from research or come from well-known organizations, associations dealing with these disabilities. So I'm asking that you create an informational booklet or web page on both of these disabilities. I want you to include the known causes, characteristics that your students would be exhibiting in the classroom or at home. I want you to discuss diagnosis. What's the process? Also, talk about educational implications. So how does this disability affect the student in the classroom, and what are some accommodations that we can use to help the student succeed? And lastly, I want you to address any kind of advocacy or support groups that you've seen that might be mentioned in your book or outside sources. You can Google both of these disabilities and find that information quite easily. So the second part of this assignment is a video analysis where you're going to be putting your new knowledge to use through a video observation. So what I'm asking for you to do is you're going to use a video observation guide and Edpuzzle. So Edpuzzle is a video analysis tool where you can create snippets of videos, larger videos. You can kind of trim them down, and then you can use voiceovers or input written feedback based on your observations. So that's what I'm asking for you to do. So I would like you to complete a video analysis that is at least 2 minutes long for both videos. And I've selected the videos for you. One is on a child with ADHD and one is on a child with ASD. So first you're going to sign up for the Edpuzzle account, and you're going to sign up as a teacher, because this way you can just use it for free and you can give me the link after you're finished with your voice overlay or written interjections of feedback. So sign up for the Edpuzzle teacher account and then search for the videos selected. So I've included the links for the videos. You can just type in the keywords and those videos will pop right up. Now you're going to add voiceover and written observations explaining the following. Now this is going to be your running record portion in your video observation guide. So you're going to explain these things. What are the characteristics that you're observing of the disability? What is the student doing or not doing in the classroom? And how is the student interacting with his or her environment? Okay? So again, you're going to look at what are the characteristics, what is the student doing or not doing, and how is the student interacting with their environment. So that's the first portion of your video observation guide. That's the running record. You're really going to be telling me what you see. Try not to include any kind of judgments or interpretations in this section. This is just a pure observation. Then you're going to move on in your video observation guide to the interpretation section. So that section is based on the evidence that you've collected or your video observation. You will provide your interpretation of what you observed in the video and make sure to take into account the identified objectives for this assignment. And those identified objectives are: explain how you interpreted what you observed. How can the student's behavior and actions affect them in the classroom? And lastly, how is the disability affecting the student? Now tell us, it's kind of just departing a little bit from what you've observed to kind of put in your knowledge, how is this affecting the student in the classroom? Lastly, you're going to discuss implications and conclusions. So based on your observational evidence and your interpretation, provide implications and conclusions for the identified issue. And make sure that you apply relevant course content and explain the implications and conclusions. So based on your observation and interpretation, what approach would you take to better educate this student based on what the data that you've collected, your video observation? And lastly, what accommodations would you use to help the student succeed in an inclusive environment? And you can get suggestions for this in your book and also outside sources. And lastly, you are going to do a discussion post. So you're going to reflect on the disabilities that you've read about, and you're going to talk about which disability do you think would be the most challenging to encounter in the classroom, and how would you better prepare yourself to work with a student with this disability. And please respond to at least one peer. So the assignment, which is a 2-part assignment, first you're going to become the expert and do your research, then you're going to do your video analysis, and also your discussion post. They're all due by February 7th at 11:59. So I look forward to seeing them all.